Hi there, and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. Today, we're diving into a question that's both deep and comforting. What if life has no big purpose, just small moments that matter?
It's easy to feel pressure to find a grand purpose, especially when you're also trying to improve your English, grow as a person, or figure out who you're supposed to be. But maybe it's okay if life isn't about some huge mission. Maybe it's more about noticing the warmth in everyday things, like a kind word, a small success, or even understanding one new English phrase today.
Think about it. The first time you introduced yourself in English. The time you understood a joke in a movie. The day you helped someone by translating a phrase. Those are small, yes, but they are real. They matter. They are moments that quietly shape your life.
Sometimes we're so focused on becoming someone that we forget we're already someone. Right now. The you who's listening to this podcast while washing dishes, or walking home, or sitting quietly, that version of you is enough. You're already living your story, not waiting for it to begin.
And maybe the purpose of learning English isn't to become perfect. Maybe it's to connect with someone you wouldn't have met otherwise. To understand a book you've always wanted to read. To say, I'm proud of myself, in a language that once scared you.
It's not always about reaching the top. It's about being present where your feet are. If today's English practice was just reading a sentence on a cereal box or listening to this podcast, that's something. That's a moment. And maybe that moment is enough.
And when you really think about it, those little moments, like finally understanding a new word or having a 5-minute chat in English with someone, aren't just stepping stones. They are the experience. They are not things you rush through to get somewhere better. They are pieces of a real, meaningful life, right here, right now.
Exactly. You don't need to impress anyone with how fast you're learning, or prove that your journey has some huge, dramatic climax. The truth is, the small stuff. It's the real stuff. Like when you help your child with a word in English. Or you listen to music and suddenly understand a lyric. Or you simply say, I'm tired today, but I'll keep going tomorrow.
And maybe that's enough. Not just in learning English, but in life too. You might never have a big speech moment or some shining spotlight that says, here's your purpose. But you'll have tiny wins. Quiet strength. A sense of peace in your chest that says, I'm still here, I'm still learning, I'm still living. And that's pretty powerful.
Sometimes we're told to search for the why behind everything. Why learn English? Why keep going? Why try again today? But what if it's not always about the why? What if it's about the what you're doing right now? You're listening. You're reflecting. You're growing. And maybe that's already enough to make this moment meaningful.
Yeah, maybe it's not about chasing some perfect purpose that explains everything. Maybe it's about noticing the feeling of being proud after you finally pronounce a word correctly. Or the comfort of watching your favorite English show while folding laundry. Or the calm you feel walking alone, repeating phrases in your head.
It's in those moments that life actually happens. Not in some faraway goal, but in the middle of your real, unpolished, everyday existence. The beauty of it is, you don't have to wait for life to become something more. You're already living it. And you're doing better than you think.
Even something as ordinary as reading a sign in English while waiting for the bus, it's small, it's quiet, and maybe no one notices, but you did that. You understood it. That's not nothing. That's not meaningless. That's a piece of progress tucked into an ordinary moment.
Or when you overhear a conversation in English and catch just a few words, but those words light up something in your brain. You feel connected. You feel awake. And maybe you smile a little, because for a second, the world feels more open, more reachable.
And those seconds? They are the ones that build into something real. Something you can hold onto when the bigger questions feel too heavy. You're not wasting time by living slowly, or by finding meaning in small things. You're not behind. You're right here. And here is where real change begins.
And when you talk to yourself in English while cooking, or say a sentence out loud, just to hear how it feels in your mouth, that moment matters. It may not feel like a milestone, but it's your voice getting braver. It's your brain saying, yes, I can do this. You're not waiting for some perfect future to begin your journey, you're already in it, in the mess, in the noise, in the quiet.
Sometimes, we think we have to wait for the right moment to start living fully or learning seriously. But what if the right moment is the one you're in now? What if life's purpose isn't some grand final achievement, but these little sparks of presence, these silent choices to keep going, to keep learning, even when it's hard? What if just noticing those moments is enough?
And in those unnoticed moments, like when you're folding laundry and whispering English phrases to yourself, or listening to a podcast on your commute while the world rushes by, you're doing more than just learning a language. You're practicing showing up. You're building a life that honors effort without applause. It's quiet growth, and that kind often runs deepest.
Because maybe it's not about achieving something that looks impressive from the outside. Maybe it's about how much heart you put into the small, invisible things. Like repeating a sentence for the 5th time, not because someone told you to, but because you care. That's something no test can measure. That's you shaping your life with purpose, even when no one else sees it.
And honestly, those moments, the ones where you pause to repeat a phrase, correct yourself softly, or just try again even when you're tired, those are the ones that quietly shape your fluency. It doesn't have to be dramatic. No spotlight, no perfect grammar. Just you and your willingness to keep going, to keep listening, to keep saying it one more time. That's how you build something real.
Exactly. And when you're not rushing towards some imagined finish line, you actually start to notice things. You notice how your mouth moves differently when you say certain words. You hear how native speakers connect sounds in ways your textbook never explained. You become more alive to the language, and in a way, more alive to your own voice in it. Because it's not just about learning English, it's about becoming someone who lives it, moment by moment.
And those moments, no matter how small, start to add up. You might be waiting for your tea to steep, or standing in line at the grocery store, and without even thinking, you're rehearsing a sentence you heard earlier, or imagining how you'd explain your day in English. These aren't random, they're real steps forward. Quiet, ordinary victories that slowly build something strong inside you.
Yes, and it's those unnoticed moments that often carry the most meaning. They are personal. They belong to you. Nobody else sees the effort, the self-correction, the whispering to yourself while walking home. But you do. You know what you're giving, even when life is busy or your motivation feels low. And when you look back, those moments, those little practices you did when no one was watching, will be the ones you're most proud of.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? Learning English becomes less about pressure and more about presence. Being there with yourself in those small pockets of time, turning everyday experiences into chances to practice, to improve, to feel a bit more confident. It's not flashy, but it's effective. It's real.
Absolutely. It's about embracing the imperfect journey. Sometimes you'll fumble, sometimes you won't feel like it, and that's okay. The important thing is showing up for yourself, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Over time, those 5 minutes become 10, and then 20, and suddenly, the language that once felt distant becomes part of your daily rhythm. It's slow, steady, and completely doable.
That's right, Nick. So remember, it's the small moments, the everyday efforts, that truly matter in your English journey. Keep embracing those little steps. They add up to big progress over time.
Thanks for joining us on British Accent Podcast. Keep it simple, keep it steady, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.